China may have just reset the AI race, erasing America's biggest advantages, and some say Washington may be making the problem worse. Welcome to the Big Money Show. I'm Dagan McDowell, along with my fabulous co-hosts, Taylor Riggs, Lou Bassanese, Jackie DeAngelis, and with us for this hour, Fox Business contributor Jonathan Hoenig. The AI race isn't coming, it is here. A new report says a Chinese AI model, can now go toe-to-toe with some of America's best systems, like Anthropic's Mythos, when it comes to finding software vulnerabilities, the kind of technology that could help defend critical infrastructure or help hack into it. It's a wake-up call to Washington. The U.S. has moved to restrict access to America's most advanced models, Anthropic's Mythos, and it's it was commercially available, Fable 5, even for government users. Meanwhile, China pushing open source alternatives that can be downloaded, modified, and deployed worldwide. Beijing is treating artificial intelligence less like a Silicon Valley product and more like a strategic asset, as we should be. As the capability gap narrows, the country that owns AI, advances AI, will write the rules of the new economy and world dominance. Lou Bassanese, how are you seeing this? Because I said last week that the sell-off in tech, I attributed it directly to what was going on with Washington bigfooting Anthropic's Mythos and Fable 5, and that it had really shaken Silicon Valley in terms of what was happening in just the inability for corporate customers to use it. But how do you see this with China?
Completely accurate. I mean, new week, new leader. I've been saying this for months, is that this race is unfolding right before our eyes, unlike we've ever seen, with the technology, and leadership is changing on a weekly basis. So much so, on the heels of today's report, Palantir and Nvidia made an announcement that brings this feature that is now being heralded that China's AI companies have to the U.S. government, and that is open source, being able to modify it, keep the data proprietary for the large language model, so that starts removing some vulnerabilities. So I think stay tuned, because next week we could see Palantir coming out along with the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI talking about the leadership changing hands yet again. But I think you put your finger on it in the intro. This is a critical asset, strategic asset for national security and economic independence and growth.
But let me ask you this, what you just said Palantir and Nvidia had done, how does that change what the Trump administration has done to force the shutdown of Mythos and Fable 5?
So it's going to make it more dynamic. I think Mike Lee had the best way to describe what Palantir does. So the operating system for AI, and now their partnership with NVIDIA creates, so you can create a custom operating system that can work with the models and not be subjected to their vulnerabilities. You can patch them up. You'll know it'll be your own large language model. The data will be proprietary, which is critical for governments, right? We don't all want to be tapping the same resource, but having your own proprietary data is what gives you a distinct advantage.
But that still doesn't make these models from Anthropic available.
It doesn't make it available, but it makes everything that is available customizable, where you can now leapfrog around them, right? So we don't need that next release. We can develop off the base of 5.5 or 5.4 in OpenAI and say, let's take it to the next level, because we know the feature set that we need.
I got to just jump in here for a moment. I'm not worried about China. Maybe that sounds crazy, but look at the Chinese stock market. It's trading about where it was in 2006. It's not surprising. The more authoritarian, the more top-down China's economy has gotten, the worse it has become. That's what has allowed us to have this dominance in the AI world. I mean, imagine the government telling the Wright brothers back in 1904, oh, we need government, monopoly over the world of flight. We need government to have a hands-off product here, a hands-off approach. That's what will make this AI product boom for U.S. So I think we really have an opportunity here to make America great by the U.S. having a hands-off approach and truly let America be great again with a laissez-faire approach to AI dominance in America.
I think Dagan's point, though, is imagine running a sprint and someone grabbing your shirt right before the starting gun goes off.
Problem.
And that's what she's saying, is that the government now is holding the U.S. back. And I think that's absolutely fair
They
assessment.
didn't grab the shirt. They kneecapped not just Anthropic, but literally the progress of an entire nation and industry.
Yeah. And I don't think, and the intro was great, Dagan, I don't think it's ever set up the fact that we've got a technological arms race here that is more dire, more consequential than what we're dealing with in AI. And so this is a massive, I would call it, like a groin punch in the race. And I wonder, why you're not worried about China, Jonathan, because I am worried about China. I agree with you. The government should back off of this because, Lou, to your point, I don't see why we have to wait and figure out workarounds and make it harder for people in the United States to use the technology when the technology inevitably is going to be out there. My question is, national security. I get it. That's an argument for so many different things now. Any issue that the administration wants to control then becomes a national security issue. To me, I'm looking at this from a standpoint of free markets. Let the markets do what they need to do. If you release something that is potentially dangerous, there will be a correction and the markets will figure it out and the businesses will figure it out or they'll go out of business. And I just don't understand what the hamstringing is here because actually it's kind of reminding me a little bit of what we saw in the Biden administration. They wanted to kill AI altogether because they wanted to be able to control it and they didn't want it out there because it wouldn't work for what they were trying to do in their narrative. But these parameters that the Trump administration is putting are really holding us back. And
true. I mean, there's a hatred, I think, of achievement today. There's a hatred of people's accomplishments. I mean, look at the way that people sneer at Elon Musk. What they don't realize is that an individual's accomplishment, even if they happen to be in China, which they haven't been for most part, but they've been in America, but even if an individual in China accomplishes something, we all benefit. Same way we all benefit from Elon Musk. Even if you've never invested a dime in an Elon Musk company, you benefit from wealth creation. So look, as long as America stays free, we will stay light years ahead of the Chinese. And Jackie, that's why I'm not worried about Chinese.
Okay.
The more authoritarian that economy has become, the worse their economy has become for more than a decade now.
I hear you, but I'm not here to celebrate China's accomplishments. I want those accomplishments to be here in the United States.
And they have been.
And I know we've got the innovation to be able to do it. I actually just am perplexed at the reasoning behind why the government is stepping in on this particular issue. But I'm perplexed by other issues too, like why we own a piece of Intel or why we're looking to kind of
or U.S. Steel.
Or dominate some of these companies. Dagan's made the point before that you open the door for the next president, and if it's not a Republican, to all of a sudden go and do some, take that all to the next level. And so where are we going with this?
Well, I wonder if people at home are trying to figure out, and I'm trying to wrestle with this. I certainly don't want government intervention, but I do want some small set of rules. So if Amazon goes to the Commerce Department and says we're starting to notice some things with Anthropic's Mythos, so really starting to crack into bank codes, or we're seeing a lot of them exploit some security vulnerabilities. Yes, at the end of the day, it's the company's problems for not having good, strong cybersecurity defenses. But as we talked about last week, I'm wondering if this administration is also thinking that it also is my problem. If it's my bank that gets hacked, and I can't pay rent because Mythos hacked out and now my bank account's drained, and that happens to millions of Americans, at the end of the day, then that becomes our problem. That's not an Amazon problem or a bank's problem. Now it's my issue too, because I'm trying to figure out how to just pay rent. And so I think the administration is maybe trying to figure out what is a light-handed touch where you can set up some parameters and it's not just a free-for-all, but not having a heavy-handed approach that China is having, because obviously that doesn't work either.
Do we have the trust in the government to do that, especially with the technology? Who's the trained technologist in the government?
That's not what they've done, though. They shut down
Right.
the most advanced model. Indirectly, they can say, well, the government, the Trump administration didn't shut it down. We said just foreign nationals can't use it. Anthropic has no way of figuring out who's a foreign national and who isn't. So they just shut down. I looked this morning, Fable 5 is not available. And that damaged not just the commercial customers of Anthropic, but it has damaged America. And I look at it like this. This is the issue of Anthropic's models or OpenAI's models being used as cyber weapons. But a model can only be used as a cyber weapon if there are vulnerabilities in the software to be exploited. those vulnerabilities, those holes, it is in the software, it is the responsibility of the businesses, the banks, and the Amazons for patching those very holes. So right now, we're in a position where the nation does not have Anthropic and its models to help patch the holes or even find them. So doing reporting this morning, here's one quote: I would rather this ability to detect vulnerabilities in American software and technology and patch those holes and fix those holes be in the hands of American companies. And right now, that ability is not, but it sure as hell in the hands of China.
So when I hear what you're saying about the Americans, us being in danger, our bank accounts, and to this point, it's kind of chicken and egg to me, like which comes first? Because if you hamstring the companies, do those patches, do those abilities to repair this ever come to fruition, or do companies get lazy about it?
I just remember this. Just remember the same.
You're still vulnerable to China at that point.
I remember the same fear in the late 1990s and early 2000s when eBay was hacked. We're all at a should be fearful of hacking. I mean, the companies will stay well ahead of the hackers if they stay free. So I'm not worried about China. As long as American dominance, as long as we stay free, you'll see American stocks far outpace anything going on in terms of innovation in China.
Yeah, let me add to that, because I think corporations are trying to figure out their fiduciary duty, which is to deliver on the bottom line. But then what also is your duty to use American technology? Coinbase came out this morning and they said, and this kind of goes on to our conversation last week about token usage, they said they're cutting their AI internal spending by half. Token usage is the highest in history, but they're trying to get more ROI out of the token. In part to do so, they're shifting to open source for the easy stuff, but it is the two China models that we're talking about. They're going to GLM 5.2, the one that you referenced in the open, and KIMI K2.7 code to do that. So you can, but again, so this kind of reminds me of when we let China join the WTO. We all are addicted to the cheap stuff from China. So company has a fiduciary duty to deliver on profits. They're going to use the cheap open source code from China and then use the good American stuff for the rest.
But for the highest end
stuff. But then look how that paid off.
They can't use the good American stuff.
Yeah.
It is not available to them because of the Trump administration.
But the almost good
the Trump administration has openly thrown sand in the gears of American artificial intelligence, period. And that gives China a leg up and a lead, and that's just the
also.
Yeah, but remember this market is so dynamic. Palantir opening up the way so you can customize the large language model. So your point
that
is
is
fair.
Not the same thing.
But being able,
the
but
shareholders
if I gave you,
of Palantir might try to con investors into thinking it is. It's not the same thing.
Look, I can take an old classic car and drop in a muscle engine, and now I've got the same speed as a new Porsche 911. It's a similar thing. So we can take a slightly inferior model.
But it's not a Ferrari.
It's not, but you can time
an old muscle car with a giant V8
time is negligible.
Ferrari.
Open up the car and drop in the engine. Is it too late? Because if
no,
the company
because AI
is shifted and they're using something else.
This is
there's first mover advantage here in that they become comfortable with it. And if it's cheaper, why wouldn't they continue to use it?
Look, AI disrupts everything we know about innovation. First mover advantage doesn't exist because the leadership changes every week. So I'm just saying, do you believe everything that China's there? Are they really superior? Guess what? They got a couple day lead. The administration is making it longer, but the innovation here prevails. We've seen this time and time again. Remember when OpenAI was light years ahead of Anthropic? And then guess what? Anthropic catapulted to the lead. So this is a thorny issue. I would say, I think about it, how do you invest in it, right? You're thinking national security, which I think is absolutely appropriate. You buy a cybersecurity ETF because you have to have those names. You own a company like Palantir, that's the middle layer, the operating system, and trust in American innovation and that the administration will eventually get it right, because you can't just let this go and innovate unbridled because there's too many negative implications on the other side. So I don't agree with intervention, heavy-handed, but there has to be some just pumping the brakes.
How much intervention is there in China?
A lot. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, Chinese government is primarily centrally owned by, the economy is owned by the Chinese government.
I
What chips are
understand
they
how the
using?
Chinese
Heavily
economy
used.
works, but when it comes to the technology companies, they're letting them go because they want to beat us.
Right, but they need Nvidia's latest chip, so they're hamstringed by that. We're hamstringed by regulation. They're hamstringed by technological inferiority.
We don't know actually what chips they need.
Right.
And
Or what they
the
have and
market
don't
is
have.
bigger than the U.S. And if you're serious about American companies dominating, the administration will get out of the way because you shut down the most advanced models from one of the biggest leaders, and American companies will use models like Alibaba's Quinn.
Well, look, you are going
Wait,
to see.
we got to go to Intel.